Thanks to Columbus, I'm marrying the love of my life. How many of us can say that? Let's just show a quick show of hands. Do we know why we get a day off from work for his holiday? Do we know why so many see him both as a hero and a villain? Without this man, America today would not be the melting pot as we know it. And I can say that without this man, I would not be where I am today. This man I am speaking of is Christopher Columbus. My name is Alberto Arroyo, and I'm a Puerto Rican American who is thankful for Columbus and his journey for many reasons. I believe that the Columbian Exchange was the most impactful piece to the famous exploration of the Americas. I think the ways the Columbian Exchange impact the world today is through the culture that was created following, the lifestyle that ensued for many, and the vast impact this exchange had on all the food we love today. If it wasn't for the exchange, many of us would not be here today. A little bit about me and my journey of realization that Columbus was a hero in many ways. I'm getting married at the end of this month to the love of my life. Her name is Jacqueline Royals. We've been dating for about 4 years, and we actually met at a Starbucks. First, we were co-workers. Now, we quickly then became best friends. Now, we're tying the knot. I love her so much, we moved from Illinois to Colorado together almost 6 years ago. I tell you this because Jackie is what she believes is a European American, as her great-grandparents are descendants from England and Ireland. Well, if the Great Columbian Exchange was never created after Columbus, would there be as many descendants from European countries as there are today? Would I actually be marrying the love of my life? Moving across the country is tough, but imagine sailing across the ocean to explore a land you're not even sure is there. Well, Columbus did that. This was quoted: Columbus was successful as an explorer, not for conceiving an idea, but for turning an idea into reality. Although there were others who were passionate about exploration and mapping the world, few had the courage to take the risk of exploration. This was from an article on Medium.com called How Successful Was Christopher Columbus? A lot of people knock Columbus, but what I love is his appreciation for his skills and exploration and willingness to risk it all for what he believed in. I think marriage is a similar journey like this, as me and my wife to-be will embark on a journey of life together, willing to do whatever it takes for each other's happiness and pure joy. His drive ultimately separated him from other sailors, as my wife's drive has incredible drive and motivates me to be a better person overall, making her very special to me. I think part of what made Columbus so successful was his willingness to do whatever it took to fund and proceed with his journey and his goals. This drive also was his demise as a councilman later on, but drove him to make also bad decisions. One of my wife's favorite food is potato pancakes. Prior to us dating, I've never had a potato pancake in my life. One of the many foods exchanged in the Columbian Exchange, such as potatoes and peppers, spices, peanuts, fruits, all sorts of livestock were brought back and forth from cattle to horses, as well as diseases like smallpox and malaria. I think hands down potatoes were the best thing that were ever bought, or at least better than diseases. I got this from an article called What in the World History, and just thinking about the amount of goods that traveled because of the Columbian Exchange personally impact a lot of things that I enjoy today. Another great good that was brought from the Great Columbian Exchange was the coffee bean. As I briefly stated earlier, my wife and I met at Starbucks almost 4 years ago. Thanks to the coffee bean, I have a job at Starbucks that I love dearly, where I met the love of my life, where we decided to build our own life across the country. Again, another way the Columbian Exchange has impacted my life. It all came full circle for me when I sat back and thought of how Columbus really impacted the world. Another reason I'm so excited to be married is because my wife has grown my personal faith in God. Prior to our relationship, I would attend church sporadically and was a believer, but it was not till I began to date my wife where one day we're talking about how we could better ourselves as people overall. One of the ways we both agreed on was being more consistent and present with God, and that was such a game changer for me as she challenged me in ways no other relationship had, and I loved it. Columbus brought over Christianity to America during his first voyage and originally planned to spread the religion to the Taino Indians before enslaving them. A quote as I state, "As I saw that they were very friendly to us and perceived that they could not be much more easily converted to our holy faith by gentle means than by force, I presented them with some red caps and string of beads to wear upon their necks and many other trifles of small value. This was Columbus out of a journal expert himself. Columbus states himself that faith was one of the main reasons of the exploration, which many believe was false, answering one of the Old Testaments. Why did Columbus travel? Was he really a hero or a trait? I think it was for heroic reasons, obviously. When thinking of ways Columbus impacted the world, I encourage you to think bigger than just the actual journey itself. Think bigger than what mistakes he made as a councilman, but think more of the great decisions he made as a sailor. When thinking of Columbus as a hero or traitor, I do not think of him killing off several thousands of the Taino Indians and my forefathers of my culture, but I think of how Columbus paved the way for the Columbian Exchange. Things like potatoes, religion, and some cultures would be not as prominent as they are today if it wasn't for the Columbian Exchange. I wouldn't be marrying the love of my life if it wasn't for Columbus. Thank you.